Suicune lands the skull, getting the opponent into the red, the opponent looking for the Shadow Claw farm down, but Suicune, refusing to die, reaches one further skull, obtaining a shield advantage in the mid game. The opponent does leave with the Ice Beam, but as Suicune lowered their attack, Bellossom really does not care. We tank the Ice Beam like an absolute boss and get a very nice Bullet Seed farm down. Back out comes Dragonite, Dragon Breath, tearing for us, but we make the Dazzling Gleam. The question is, does the opponent respect the damage? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see on the screen, we are back at it today, featuring some of my own battles. I took around 9 days off from playing GBL. That was a combination of the kids being on a half term and me having very little motivation to play. We're currently in the Jungle Cup, aka Vigoroth Cup, and I have no intentions of playing any of that nonsense, or at least not this week anyway. Much like the goated content creator, my friend Callum on Toast, I pride myself on running unique, spicy teams that you're not going to see anywhere else, and today is no exception. I spent a whopping 700,000 Stardust to power up pvpokes 200th rank pick Shadow Bellossom. It might be ranked 200th, however the rankings don't tell the full story. Bellossom with access to Bullet Seed and Leaf Blade get into it at a very alarming rate of only taking 9 turns for the first 3 and 6 turns for the 4th is absurd, and there are so many water types such as Feraligatr, Poliwrath, Tapu Fini, Greninja, Jellicent to name a few that it's going to feast on. Bellossom's mono grass typing does make it somewhat vulnerable in this meta. We're weak to ice, fire and flying. So with that in mind, we've got a double water backline. Of course we resist both fire and ice, and we've got ice beam coverage on both Pokemon to hit back them flyers. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, we see our Dancing Flower into Scrafty, that stupid fighter that needs to pull its trousers up. We could of course one-shot him with a double super effective Dazzling Gleam, but as we're on an ABB team, we're going to opt for the chip, and if we fire off the Leaf Blade, the opponent returns fire with the foul play, then attempt to catch a Leaf Blade onto a hot air balloon, and I respond with Suicune. The opponent goes straight for the debuff, wanting to lower my attack, and that's fine for me. I'll be honest, they would have built up to the Shadow Ball, I would have tried my luck at debuffing them with the skull, but as we're now 1 stage debuffed, I just go straight for the super effective Ice Beam. And you can see, even after a 1 stage debuff, that does so much damage. Suicune is such an unsung hero this Ultra League. If you haven't got one yet, please power it up. It's a monster. You can see we reach the skull. The opponent looks for the Hex farm down, and Suicune just refuses to die. The opponent forced a double shield in the mid game, and that is best case scenario. I send out Gator, anticipating the opponent blind throwing an icy win. The opponent actually aggressively give up switch after investing 2 protect shields to win it. A bit of a strange play, I'll be honest. We land the Hydro Cannon snipe with the Bullet Seed. I'm looking top right. If Drifblim does return, they're certainly in Leaf Blade range. I just powered up this Bellossom. I anticipated winning CMP. We did not, but regardless now, Feraligatr can come in, get the Shadow Claw farm down, and whatever the opponent's got in the back, didn't fancy seeing a 2-shield Gator, and we take that game. In the next battle, we see Guzzlord. I'll be honest, Dark types are a bit of a problem for this team, as all 3 of my quick moves are going to be resisted. The opponent fires off the Dragon Claw. We're going to YOLO the double super effective Dazzling Gleam. Does the opponent respect the damage? Oh. Bellossom denied of its big boom. Come on, trainer, I spent 700,000 dust on this thing. Let me land a boom. The opponent answers my Suicune save switch with Cresselia, and once again you're going to see just how good Suicune is. I was anticipating Skull being nerfed in this season's move rebalance. However, it did survive, still with a 50% chance, and you're going to see, if you're able to get a couple of debuffs on a Cresselia, even running Grass Knot, this stupid wet noodle is just unable to get rid of you. We're at around a 3rd health, but Grass Knot just doesn't get the job done. I reach 1 further skull. In this battle, you see I miss a few bubbles. That's intentional. I thought, should I go for an undercharge, try and get a Shadow Claw farm down? I actually don't do that. So Guzzlord now has even more farm, and this is still such a tricky spot. We're going to no-shield the first move, but Shadow Feraligatr is actually very glassy in the Ultra League. That breaking swipe did so much damage. We're going to be forced to shield the next one, and now we've got to be really mindful the opponent might try and make a catch. The opponent does indeed look to catch the Ice Beam onto their own Gator, and we respond with Bellossom. The opponent give me a free Bullet Seed, which we're going to say thank you very much for. We're then going to farm up, throw 3 Bullet Seeds and the Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade from this range, despite only costing 35 energy, will actually be lethal. We're able to grab the final Protect Shield. The second Leaf Blade is going to secure the knockout. Get that Gator out of here. Back out comes Guzzlord. We throw 1 Shadow Claw and the Ice Beam. Ice Beam won't quite be lethal. They're now going to be 2 quick moves off the next Dragon Claw. Do they get there? They do not. We get the resisted Shadow Claw farm down and take that game. Jesus Christ, after sweating in the last battle against the Guzzlord lead, we see Deja Vu. These are straight battles, just as I played them. Again, we YOLO the Dazzling Gleam. Of course the opponent respects the damage. Another boo Mr. Opponent moment, and we're going to say switch into Suicune. The opponent stays in, fires off the crunch. We do withstand the damage. We didn't get a debuff, so we can even survive another crunch. I'm scared the opponent might look to make the catch. You're going to see I pause a turn, ensure I see the Dragon Tail come through and fire off the Ice Beam. Ice Beam lands for big damage. However, this opponent still isn't in fast move farm down range for either of my Pokemon. Guzzlord, a huge headache for this team. If this wasn't a Shadow Blossom feature, I think I would have tanked this move and just saved 2 shields for Gator. However, Blossom needs its screen times. We shield up the crunch, the opponent gets the debuff, and we're in so much trouble. Leaf Blade will be secure on the knockout, and I'm going to spam the switch. We send out Gator, Skeledirge temporarily enters the arena, and then they send out Annihilate. Feraligatr absolutely smelling blood. I fire off the first Hydro Cannon, landing for massive damage. The opponent at a potential Shadow Ball, and I am going to respect the damage. The opponent Masturbate, killing a poor defenseless Cap, and no amount of baiting is going to save this opponent's fate. Back out comes Skeledirge. We're going to fire off 2 quick moves and the charge move, optimal fast move timing, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. 2 further quick moves, and the next Hydro Cannon is going to be all she wrote. And that right there is a prime example why Shadow Feraligatr is ranked number 2 on pvpoke, because it is fucking busted. In the next battle, we see Blossom into Magnezone. This is a great opportunity to talk about fast move timing. 3 turn into 4 turn can be quite tricky. So if you're me, using a 3 turn move, ideally you want to throw after 5 quick moves or 1. So I throw after 5, land in the first Leaf Blade, and then I throw 1 further. Both times only giving away 1 free turn. If you're the opponent using the 4 turn move, you want to throw after 2 quick moves or 5. However, the opponent was getting very close to capping out an energy. They were forced to throw out poor time, and then say switch into Giratina. We bank some energy and respond with Suicune. The reason I've gone Suicune here, as opposed to Feraligatr, is the fact we can tank charge moves for days, whereas you've already seen Gator cannot. So with shields up, we always like to go into Suicune. If we see a Giratina safe switch, again the opponent throws up poor timing. So 2 turn into 3 turn, you want to throw at 1, 4 or 7, not 3 like the opponent did. So if you're like me, using the 3 turn move is really easy into 2 turn, just an odd number. So I want to throw the Ice Beam, and the opponent invests both Protect Shields, and that works for me because it is 2 shield Gator time, and Gator is such a ruthless Pokemon with an energy lead. We tank the first Dragon Claw. I am going to shield the second. If the opponent continues to stay in, we're just going to farm up, throw the Ice Beam on the CMP tie. The opponent actually pivot out into Cresselia. We're going to fire off the Hydro Cannon, doing some very solid chip damage, and then pivot back out into Blossom. We're now at the double Leaf Blades. You can see that wasn't CMP. The opponent has the charge move banked. I attempt to CMP tie him to the next move. The opponent actually doesn't throw, but they're going to be forced to throw. That Leaf Blade just does so much damage. This is going to be the easiest no shield of my life. Thank you very much, Blossom, for your contribution, but Gator's got it from here. We send in Gator, get the Shadow Claw farm down. The opponent still has Magnezone alive with a charge move banked. They send back out Magnezone, they instant throw. This likely is a mirror shot. We're just going to shield regardless. Throw 1 Shadow Claw and the Hydro Cannon, meaning that Volt Switch will not register. Hydro Cannon going to be massive overkill. When Giratina does return, we're only 1 Shadow Claw off the Ice Beam, and Feraligatr once again sweeps the team. GG's and thanks for playing. Oof, tough lead. We're going to instantly pivot into Suicune, and the opponent responds with Ampharos. This does not look fantastic. We're going to fire off the Scald, fishing for the attack drop. Scald lands. Do we get the attack drop? No, we don't. The opponent farms up to the double charge moves. There's no point in shielding this up. The opponent actually YOLO the Focus Blast, which does mean they're now completely energy dry. I'm going to send out Blossom. We're not going to respect anything the opponent throws and just commit to an aggressive Bullet Seed farm down. Of course, Pidgeot is a dreadful matchup. We do have a coverage move that's going to hit back for heavy neutral damage. Blossom does get a massive Bullet Seed farm down. Back out comes Pidgeot. Despite taking super effective, I'm going to be disciplined. 1 Bullet Seed and the Charger. You can see that 2 Dazzling Gleams will be lethal. However, the opponent has completely hard countered me as they've got double electric for my double water back line. We might still have a chance here. We force the opponent's first Protect Shield. Of course, I am going to shield this move up. We need to get all shields down and try and gleam that Pidgeot. Again, we're going to throw 3 quick moves and the Hydro Cannon. This should force the opponent's final Protect Shield, which it does. The opponent does get a massive Volt Switch farm down. So the counts for this thing are 4 for the first Nature's Madness and 3 for the next two. So unfortunately, I'm only going to have to throw 3 Bullet Seeds, and I can't play to CMP, as the opponent would win that CMP tie, and it's going to be a raised Leaf Blade. Secures the knockout. Can we reach the Gleam? No, we can't. Although, to be honest, I think we made that as close as we could, despite being triple hard counter. GG's to that opponent. Finally, we see the water type in the lead. Let's go. The opponent safe switches into Shadow Granbull. We're going to go for the chip and dip or look to force ourselves early shield advantage. The opponent shows no respect for their Leaf Blade, and that's just going to allow me to send in Gator, get the Shadow Claw farm down before they even reach a charge move. We're going to leave with a lot of energy. Despite this being resisted damage into the opposing Gator, this is Shadow and Shadow Crime, and Hydro Cannon is a busted move. You're going to see the first one does a solid amount of chip damage. We're going to reach the second one, and this will put them very close to the red health, if not in the red. What this also does is force the opponent to throw. You can see that Gator's put in so much work again. Gator, stop stealing the spotlight. We're going to send out Bellossom after waiting out our clock, as switch times are slightly misaligned. The opponent sends out Skeledirge. We respond with Suicune. So we got triple hard counter in the last game, and in this game, we're hard countering the opponent. The opponent's on crunch, so an argument could be made I don't have to shield the next move. However, as I've got access to Scald, we're just going to 2-shield, hope the opponent top left, if I'm being brutally honest. We didn't get the attack drop on the first go, so we're going to shield again in case the opponent YOLO a Shadow Ball. It looks like they're fishing for the defense drop. We're going to throw one Snarl and the next one. Come on, give me the debuff. There's the debuff, and that should be GG's. You're going to see just how little this Crunch is going to do. Crunch is going to do absolutely nothing. We throw one Snarl and the next Scald. Scald, going to be massive overkill. Switch timer pops up. We pivot back out into Bellossom, Bullet Seed farm down, and take that game. Back-to-back Gator leads. The opponent safe switches into Skeledirge. We throw one Bullet Seed, which is going to be 3 turns. The switch is 1, so that's 4. 5 Shadow Claws and the Hydro Cannon, getting there 1 turn before the opponent reaches their first charge move. The opponent completely sacks Skeledirge and then send out Ampharos, but Gator still not done. I cannot believe the opponent didn't shield that. If I was the opponent, I'd be keeping some health on Ampharos, because Ampharos kind of needs to hard carry the team, as they know that Bellossom is going to be aligned against their Gator. We're going to send out Bellossom, look to get a huge energy lead, and this should be pretty much signed, sealed and delivered. The opponent is going to reach 1 departing Brutal Swing. We will invest our first Protect Shield. I have no idea why the opponent's still playing this out, but it is what it is. 1 Bullet Seed and the Leaf Blade. The opponent still has 2 Protect Shields, but they're going to be going very quickly. The first Leaf Blade forces the opponent's first Protect Shield. We're now at the double Leaf Blade. The second Leaf Blade forces the final Protect Shield. The third Leaf Blade unfortunately won't quite be lethal, but we've still got a full health Suicune, which we're going to pivot into now, catching the charge move, add an insult to injury. This Hydro Cannon is going to do absolutely nothing. We're going to be able to reach the Scald, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing, and sorry for the hard counters, buddy. It happens to us all. Heading into the next battle. Why is Sandstash on my screen? So I'll explain what happened here. I've actually cut one battle out where I completely lagged out, so I restarted my game, went back to the battle screen, and it's given me this team that I ran, I don't know, ages ago. I've got no idea why. What the hell is this bullshit glitch? We would have hard one lead, leading Bellossom into Greninja. Sandslash doesn't have the best matchup. We do manage to gain ourselves early shield advantage. We're going to send out Poliwrath. The opponent then sends out Trevenant. We respond with Charizard. We've got 2 shields. Is the opponent going to bait? Of course he is. Who doesn't love to bait a shadow Pokemon? But undeterred, we're going to farm up. Throw the Blast Burn on the CMP tie, guaranteeing the knockout. Blast Burn, going to be massive overkill. The opponent probably sends back out Greninja. And we're just going to put it all on Poliwrath. Back out comes Greninja. The opponent needs the Hydro Cannon to secure the knockout. The opponent throws the Night Slash. We withstand the damage. We're going to instant throw the Blast Burn. Even resisted. This is going to knock out. We're going to instantly pivot, potentially saving Charizard as the third shield. The opponent's final Pokemon is Virizion. Of course, we're going to shield the first move up, as we're just going to debuff him after that with the Icy Wind. This matchup's going to get incredibly close. The opponent still 1 Protect Shield. Of course, shield up the Icy Wind. With a lowered attack, Poliwrath can survive a Leaf Blade. Poliwrath and Bellossom actually have very similar stat products in the Ultra League. Pretty decent bulk, to be honest. We throw 1 counter and the next Icy Wind. Icy Wind won't be lethal. Can we get the counter farm down before the next one? We cannot. However, that should be 1 Wing Attack range. Wing Attack being a 2-turn move means it's going to register before the double kick. And despite being on 1 HP, we're able to take that game. In the next battle, we see Poliwrath in the lead. My god, am I glad the game didn't force me to send out Sandslash. Again, we're getting some lag. After 9 days off, I'm getting pretty tilted, I'll be honest. We force ourselves early shield advantage and pivot into Suicune, drawing out Venusaur. Venusaur is so bad for my team. It beats everything. Although we've got the Ice Beam coverage, luckily for me, the opponent shows no respect. I think an argument could be made here. I should shield to maintain alignment. However, it is what it is. We're just going to send out Gator, get an energy lead, and look to save 2 shields with Bellossom, giving it the best opportunity to shine. Gator comes in, gets the Shadow Claw farm down. Of course, Poliwrath will be returning. We're just going to get him to dump their energy. We end up throwing the Hydro Cannon on the CMP tie. Hydro Cannon, of course, won't do much damage, but will definitely put him into Leaf Blade range. We're going to no-shield this and instantly pivot. Let's go, Bellossom. Is this your moment to shine? Ask and you shall receive. The opponent going to be core broken by Bellossom. They've got Regirock in the back. Regirock, very, very thick. You can see Leaf Blade does so much damage. The opponent is going to get 2-shot. We're going to shield at the Stone Edge. Takes the opponent 11 turns to reach the Stone Edge. So I can only throw 3 Bullet Seeds, which is 2 turns before the opponent reaches the next Stone Edge. Leaf Blade secures the knockout. Back out comes Poliwrath. And this is going to be game over. We fire off the next Leaf Blade. The opponent recognises the game's over and concede the match. Bellossom into Tapu Koko. Very nice to see the electric type in the lead, as our water backline certainly doesn't want to see it. Again, 5 Bullet Seeds and the charge move, only giving away 1 free turn. I really hate free turn moves, to be honest. Although I think this was good practice, even for myself, getting to grips with how to play free turn moves. I am going to shield up Bellossom. The opponent likely pivots after this. Let's see what the opponent wants to do. The opponent aggressively send out Skeleturge. We respond with Gator. Gator going to be able to outpace to the Hydro Cannon. If the opponent doesn't respect the damage, they're going to be straight in and straight out. Get that Skeleturge off my screen. And the opponent is going to concede the match. GG's and thanks for playing. In the next battle, what the heck is that? Aggron in the Ultra League. Are you serious? Please tell me this isn't some nonsense, toxic, fast move pressure team. These Leaf Blades are going to hit for neutral due to Rock taking super effective and steel resisting grass. You can see that Bellossom hits pretty hard. The second Leaf Blade will almost be lethal, so we're going to grab a shield and pivot into Suicune. Aggron has access to Thunder. Thunder will land for a lot of super effective damage, but we're not going to shield our Say Switch. The opponent then sends out Togekiss. We fire off Ice Beam, hoping to land for big damage, but the opponent of course invests that Protect Shield, as all toxic trainers do. They always love to shield nukes and tap their way to victory. It's now time for Gator to put in work. We're going to be forced to shield up the Ancient Power, as I need to keep health in case the opponent's got a third fast move pressure mon. We fire off 4 Shadow Claws and the Ice Beam. Hi Togekiss, bye Togekiss. Nice to see you nice. Back out comes Aggron. We fire off the Hydro Cannon. Gator claims yet another victim. The opponent's final Pokemon is Giratina. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to reach the Ice Beams. We're just going to set off the Hydro Cannon, doing some chip damage, putting them into Dazzling Gleam range. The question is, can we make it? The opponent throws on alignment, giving us a very good chance. The opponent fires the Dragon Claw, then the instant throw, and that is going to seal their fate. If they would have thrown at better timing, I think they actually Shadow Claw, farm me down, but regardless, Bellossom is going to be a Giratina counter confirmed. You heard it here first. GG's. Heading into the next battle, we're back to the Guzzlord leads. Yikes. You're going to see here, I don't actually get denied. I pause a turn, trying to ensure the opponent doesn't catch the Gleam. This opponent's running Sludge Bomb as well. Holy crap. Legacy Sludge Bomb. We just about survive. Fire off the Gleam, forcing a Protect Shield, but our Bellossom is completely sacrificed. We then send out Suicune. The opponent stays in, so anticipating them attempting to catch the Ice Beam. We hold our energy, and then they send out Tentacruel. Tentacruel is favoured in this matchup, however, we've got a very nice energy lead. Again, we're throwing on odd numbers to minimise the amount of free turns the opponent gets. The second Skull gets them below half health. Switch timers are misaligned, and I'm going to look to make use of that. As I don't want Suicune to go down, send out Gator, get debuffed, and have no way of resetting that debuff. So again, we throw 3 Snarls and the Scald. Scald gets them into the red. We send in Gator. Gator will get the Shadow Claw farm down. The opponent is going to reach a move. Please no debuffed. Oh, we get the attack drop. They send out Poliwrath. We're going to fire off 1 Hydro Cannon to see if 3 will be lethal. You're going to see it certainly isn't, so we're just going to concede the match. GG's to that opponent. Heading into the next battle, a much better lead. Electric types have become so common, so I think grass types certainly have some play in this meta. The The opponent throws on alignment, giving me a free bullet seed. So that's going to mean we can one and throw the first leaf blade, one and throw the second leaf blade before they reach the next brutal swing. So Bellossom cleanly going to win the 0 shield. The opponent actually invested Protect Shield. This leaf blade still going to land for a lot of damage. Leaf blade, one of the very best moves in the game. The opponent overfarmed too much. I've got no idea what for, allowing us to make yet another leaf blade, and we managed to gain ourselves early shield advantage. The opponent then sends out Trevenant. We pivot into Suicune. Fun fact about Shadow Suicune, another reason it's one of my very favourite Pokemon to use in the Ultra League. Suicune beats Trevenant in both the 0 and the 1 shield. Again, I'm going to practice what I preach. For an on an odd number, the Ice Beam, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. Suicune going to survive this Seed Bomb. We need to be mindful the opponent might try and make the catch. The opponent stays in. It's going to be high Trevenant, bye Trevenant. Get that pesky tree off my screen. The opponent's final Pokemon is Annihilate, and this is going to be game over. We try and make a Shadow Ball catch for no reason whatsoever. The opponent hold their energy, allowing us to make the Leaf Blade. Feraligatr beats Annihilate in CMPs. There really is no win con whatsoever. The opponent tried to counter farm down. Bellossom says no, reaches one final Leaf Blade, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, Shadow Hippowdon. What a cool pick and a very nice lead. But what isn't very nice is Galvantula. Just like Venusaur, another mon that beats the entirety of my team. We bank some energy, catch the lunge onto Suicune. This is by no means a good matchup for us whatsoever. It's going to be somewhat of a team effort to get rid of this pesky spider. We throw the Scald. The opponent actually don't invest the Protect Shield, which is definitely better for me. We've now got this thing into Leaf Blade range. We're just going to sack Suicune. We can send in Bellossom again. 3 turn into 4 turn. 1 and throw, 1 and throw. So we send out Bellossom, 1 Bullet Seed and the Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade will be lethal from this range. The opponent actually chooses to invest that Protect Shield. But Bellossom so incredibly spammy, says there's plenty more of where that came from. The opponent invests both Protect Shields. Again, an argument could be made to save 2 shields for Gator, but this is a Shadow Bellossom showcase. We're going to shield at the lunge, 1 and throw the next Leaf Blade. It's going to be high Galvantula, bye Galvantula, and we're going to instantly pivot, looking to reset that debuff. The opponent's final Pokemon is Walrein. What's going to be the hardest move left in the game? Probably a Scorching Sands, although if I manage my energy well and correctly shot this Earthquake, the opponent isn't going to reach one. We shield up the Earthquake, fire off the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon doesn't do too much, but these Shadow Claws do really start to chunk the opponent. Look to make the catch onto Hippowdon. We overfarm, fire off the Hydro Cannon, Shadow on Shadow Crime. The opponent do withstand the damage, although they only make a Rock type Weather Ball or Body Slam depending on what they're running. We tank the Weather Ball, commit to the Shadow Claw farm down, back out. Comes Walrein. The opponent does have a move bank. They take the extra. Very smart play from the opponent, but they're going to be forced to throw as they'll lose CMP. And it's now going to be a race. Who's going to win the race? Bellossom versus Walrein. We fire off the Leaf Blade on the CMP time. By the skin of our teeth, we're going to take that game. The opponent clearly not a fan of it as they force close the app, but GG's regardless. Heading into the final battle of the video, what a yikes lead. Shadow Dragonite, we pivot into Suicune, drawing out Gator. We're going to go straight for the Scald, looking to get the debuff off, but unfortunately lose CMP. Hydro Cannon doesn't do too much damage, it would do even less if we were able to debuff them first. Scald lands, we don't get the attack drop. We're just going to continue to farm up. The opponent again look to play to CMP, we take the extra, which should allow us to make 2 further Scalds, and if the opponent want alignment, it's going to cost them a Protect Shield. We throw 1 Snarl and the next Scald. Scald goes unshielded, but Suicune able to reach 1 further Scald. And ball is in the opponent's court. How much do they want switch? The opponent invests that Protect Shield. They've probably got Ice Beam. However, we finally get the attack drop, which means Bellossom is going to show no respect for a non-stab beam. The opponent fire off the Ice Beam. It does a solid chunk of damage, and we get a very nice Bullet Seed farm down. Back out comes Dragonite, Dragon Breath, tearing us apart, but we reach the Dazzling Gleam. The question is, does the opponent respect the damage? Get that Dragonite out of here. 1 shot from almost full health. The opponent's final Pokemon is Empoleon, and they're going to concede the match. Bellossom in the final battle gets its big boom. Let's go. So those were the battles with my level 51 Shadow Bellossom. Not only did I invest 700,000 Stardust into this thing, I also had to best buddy it. It was a very fun pick, not really top meta, but it certainly has some very cool anti-meta play in the current Ultra League meta. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you like your battles featured on my channel, a link to a battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.